the stakeholders together as we are doing today. So thank you for those who honored our call today. I apologize for the background noise. It's a Saturday morning, so there are some people who are not too happy, but bear with me. So Plan development is one of our programs. We have another program on greening Kilimani, and under this program, we focus on keeping our environment in Kilimani clean and green. We do cleanups, we organize tree planting, and we also have recycling programs. We have another program under public security, and this one we work closely with the Kilimani police station to ensure that public safety and security is one of our very active programs, and the Kilimani police station have been very supportive in this program. We have another program on social cohesion, where we focus on bringing Kilimani community together, from the residents to business people, and the street festival is one of our very popular programs under this pillar. Unfortunately, because of the season that has been this year, we've not been able to have any street festivals, but we are hopeful that we will resume next year with those and other activities that are able to bring people together to share and exchange stories and just to have a good time. We have a final program called under the Social Enterprise Program, where we support low-income earners to start cottage industries. And under this program specifically, we were focusing on domestic workers and were able to support them start soap making and sanitary product production. And this has been going on, and the products are available for sale. So if you want to buy any multi-purpose or hand washing liquid, please get in touch with us. They have wonderful products, and this will go a long way in supporting them and their families. So that's a few things that we have been doing through the year. As we are winding up the year, we still have a few activities planned. We have a tree planting under our Greening Kilimani program, and this is scheduled for next Saturday, the 5th of December at Kilimani Primary School. So I'd want to invite all of you to come out, come breathe some fresh air. It's been a tough year for all of us, so it would be good to get together, of course, observing all protocols and plant a few trees at Kilimani Primary School. One of our other key programs that we have not been able to implement for some time was the Organic Farmers Market, which we are planning to bring back in January. So please keep your eyes out, keep your ears open for this very exciting program as well, where we provide organic foods to members of the community, and we provide this market, where we promote healthy eating for all that are interested in that. We also are planning to have our virtual community dinner on the 12th of December. So please keep an eye out for that. We have very interesting guests lined up for you, very interesting activities lined up. So please keep an eye out for that as well. I'll keep my introduction short. So once again, karibuni sana. And I want to hand over to Robin. I think she's on the platform, who will carry on with the program. Once again, karibuni sana, and thank you so much for attending this Baraza. Robin, if you're there.
Yes, I'm here. Great. Thank you very much, Wanjiro. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Robin, we can't hear you very well. Robin, you seem to be breaking. Robin, can you hear me? Unless it's, I don't know if anyone else can hear Robin clearly. Emma, can you hear Robin?
Her connection is poor.
Yes. Let me just let her know that.
Okay, is that better?
Yes, that's much better.
Okay, wonderful. Wanted to invite my colleague Chris to join us. Chris, are you with us?
I can't see Chris. Is he on the platform?
Yeah, I can see him on the platform. Perhaps he's signing on. I mean, perhaps he's also getting himself connected. Okay, so we welcome everyone to the third Baraza. We appreciate and thank you very much for taking your time and being here today. And I am preparing to share the screen with you all. Okay, can somebody unmute Chris? Any other of our hosts or admins, please?
Martha, if you're there, can you unmute Chris?
Yes, I've sent him a request to unmute himself.
Okay, he's unmuted now.
Okay, great.
Karibu, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, wonderful, great. Chris, if you just want to, just the opportunity to just say good morning to everyone before we get going.
Yeah, morning everyone. Nice to be here. Nice to meet you all.
Okay. All
Great.
right, wonderful. So I'm just about to show our slide so that we can go through. Again, this is our third Baraza. The foundation has taken it upon ourselves to, we know that enshrined in the EIA laws, the Environmental Impact Act, with also with plan development, that there is, public engagement that is to be there. And as we know, COVID and the season and the environment that we're in has given all of us an opportunity to be creative in how we interact with each other. So the foundation is taking full advantage of this customary way. We're all familiar with gathering and engaging in this way. So we are happy that you've joined this evening, you've joined and that you're here. Apologies for the delay in this. I want to show this presentation. Let me just show it like this. Okay, so let me just go ahead and screen share and we can get started. So the way that this works is that if you're here, if you are with us and you're here and you are representing a development, we give you an opportunity to present on the development. And so you'll have that opportunity to do that. There'll be an opportunity for people that are here with us to give comments or rebuttals to any of the developments. And some of these developments are on their third reading. And so at the third reading that the developer has been invited to attend, or the NMS, I believe that some of their representatives are here. If some of the progress that we have, that should be moving at the space that we believe that represents all the interests and it is enshrined in the laws, then we will look at we will make recommendations to the Kilimani Project Foundation, recommendations for their next action to go forward, if you will. We will unmute you. So if you have a question, you can put the question in the chat box, or you can raise your hand at a time for each time. We will give an opportunity for that, but please allow us to unmute you. Again, if you have probably already seen the agenda, it is starting to get quite hefty. That's a good thing. That means that people are letting us know about developments and information is coming in. Again, those that are on third reading, we won't go into a lot of depth because that information has already been shared in previous barazas. So feel free to watch on Facebook previous recordings of other barazas with more details about these developments. or seek the minutes that has the same. And so we will just do a brief notice on the ones that are on third reading, Chris, so we don't have to go into all of the details on those. Ask again if there's any representatives here, and ask NIMA or NMS to give us information in terms of their follow-up. But the first thing that we do want to mention, which is part of inside of why we do these, Chris, and everyone else is that here. Recently, the National Construction Authority did this assessment of over 14,000 buildings in Nairobi. And the assessment found, as you can see there, 10,791 of those buildings were very unsafe, and then they either needed to be demolished or reinforced upon occupation. Now, what is concerning and why we think that what we're doing with these barazas is going to have an impact is, you can see there, NCA also found that thousands of buildings in Nairobi exist without approvals. So I know that many of the, for us, that we are asking these questions, we're asking until we can ascertain what is the status of them following through the process. How have these buildings come to be? So that's just one thing. So Chris, I don't know if you have any comments about those. That's the state of building approvals in Nairobi and how it impacts Kilimani.
Yeah, I mean, Kilimani is affected just like any other part of the city. If you have a proliferation of unapproved construction, then it starts affecting Kilimani, its outlook. Kilimani had certain guidelines to do with ground coverage, plot ratio, restrictions to do with height, number of units in compounds. But those are seemingly not being followed, and this is part of the problem with flouting the rules. And so what happens is, whereas we previously had water, most residents in Kilimani now do not have water because of all the unplanned and unapproved development and just haphazard development that does not take into account the infrastructure and the size and type of utility available. You look at our roads, nowadays you can get held up in traffic in Kilimani when previously you would drive through. It's a residential neighborhood, but right from Agwings Kodek to Lenana Road to Dennis Pritt Road, you'll get caught up in traffic, Cotton Avenue all the way. And that's all because of this sort of unapproved or haphazard development. So it's our duty as a community to be coming together, looking out for the community, calling them out and seeing if we can, if there is an opportunity to then stop this very quick descent, and hopefully we save our community. Thanks.
Great, thank you very much for that. And so, so we can keep this in the background, resident stakeholders and other professionals that are here with us and joined. This is concerning on many levels. And so we will jump straight into agenda item number 1. Okay, so agenda item number 1, we have here, let me just confirm, I think I saw Mangat here. Let me see who else is here from the, so just want to make certain that we have people here that can give us feedback. So we have this, the agenda item number 1. And so this is the property on Arguings at the corner of Arguings, I believe, in Wood Avenue. And so going there again, just went by there to check. We actually have properties at both sides of that corner, Chris, that are under development. So both sides of that corner are under development, and these are the signboards for both of them. And so we had this again on the last agenda, and so we have a change of user. The NMS at that time let us know that a change of user had been approved, but that building plans were in the final stages. Chris, I don't know about you, but there's construction happening there. on that site. And it says here that in our last Baraza in September, that final approvals would be held until this plan development committee and residents have been fully engaged. And so, Chris, according to a review and a check, we know that progress, we can see a construction is taking place and is underway at both of these sites. So maybe if M&S, Mangat, or anyone that's with us, would you please give comments on this property? I know 183, but again, there's action on both sides. Who's giving comments today?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is John Langat from NMS.
Great, welcome, John.
Yes.
Welcome, Jonah.
Actually, the plan was approved through plan number 80-152. And it was approved, collected, and even the structural drawing are approved. That is the status.
Okay, great. Do you have a date on that approval by chance?
Sorry?
Do you have the date on that approval by chance?
I cannot keep the date exactly, but it was mid this year. 320 apartments, 16 levels.
Okay. Okay, so Jonah, as I mentioned, and from our minute Baraza last in September, at that time, this is what was reported to us. Can you, any insight on what happened or the difference, the varying of reporting?
In our earlier reporting, we were saying it is in the final stages, meaning that the blueprints were being brought for signature. And I think they were signed.
Okay, please go ahead, Jonah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, in our earlier meeting, we reported that the plan is in the final stages of approval, meaning that they are waiting to be collected. And I think a month earlier, it was collected.
Okay, so a month earlier than September, than before we met, or a month earlier from now?
After our meeting.
Okay, okay. So per the Baraza, because we had reported that there hadn't been any engagement, which is supposed to have happened, your team said that you would not give the approvals until that engagement took place.
Yes, that's what I agree. I think the problem that we have, unless we get a formal communication, formal communication can be a letter or can be the minutes of these forums. So if we receive the minutes of this forum, we will hold the application. We cannot release it. But without any formal communication, we have no objection to release.
Okay, wonderful. So we actually did send the minutes. We emailed the minutes and we sent objection letters specifically to this property.
We still have the powers. We still have the powers to recall it back.
But we'd like to pinpoint the breakdown because, as you mentioned, you told us that this is the procedure to send you the minutes and an objection letter, and we did that.
Yeah, I think the minute was it online?
We deliver on and physical. We do everything.
Okay, if you can get a letter direct, just a normal letter for all these items, we'll just cancel the approval. It's no problem.
Okay, Constant, I'm sorry, not Constant. I see your name on here that came up. Chris, any comments for Jonah?
Well, not really. I'd like to believe that perhaps somehow the technical team that deals with it did not receive the communication. So perhaps if Mr. Langat can clarify how that communication can be sent so that we are sure it is at the right desk and it's not lost somewhere in transit. Is there a formal office it can be sent to? And when it gets to that office, do we take it that the technical team has received it? Or how do you, because it sounds to me like you did not receive any objection is what you're reporting. Yet the foundation did send in its objections. So how can we bridge that gap?
And then maybe that's a good question. So maybe because maybe we can go through one by one because I suspect that we might find this on a couple of others, and we can chart the way forward comprehensively, if that's okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
Okay.
that's better. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay, so let's move to the next agenda item. Jonah, we so appreciate you being here with us. This is very valuable and appreciated. Okay, so so 1 second. Okay. Having a user error here. Okay, so let me go back to the presentation. Okay, so then we have number 2, change of user 912. We have, this one is on Turbo Road. Construction began on November 12th without any neighboring resident consent. So this is a development that's on its 3rd reading. That means that we've presented this at the July Baraza, the September Baraza, and it's up again today. And so we can see that they submitted their EIA report on October the 9th. And then they got an EIA license on November the 11th. And construction began on November 12th, the next day. It says here the residents has let us know that they got a signboard up as of yesterday. So that is the state of this one, the 3rd reading. That's the summary of all the other details could be found in the minutes. Maybe Jonah, do you have any comments on this one?
Hello.
Yes.
Again, we have an approval of the same for 59 number apartment, 14 levels. It is approved and collected. Just like the other one, the first one, I think the issue here, we need to get a formal communication in terms of a letter to NMS directed development control or development management, stating the objection. So when we receive those objections, even if the application has been collected, we inform the client through the architect that they're not supposed to start the works until they're cleared.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. So I'm just pulling up the letters that we have sent with all of those comments. And so we can see there is a breakdown here, Chris.
Yes.
So what do you recommend? So this one, we were saying that we can review this and look at how this one got approved also, because again, the issue is that if we look again at the dates here, this is what's concerning for us, Jonah.
Yes.
If you can look at the dates, and Jonah, in good faith, we again appreciate you being here. In good faith, the foundation from September 26th has been trying to reach your office and and officers so that we could follow up on these issues with little response in between the barazas. So the concern is how do we tighten this engagement?
What I can suggest to keep the right direction, maybe one of the members, like Chris, can come to our office with all these items so that we can guide on how to do a letter. Because despite that it has been collected, it does not mean it is the final stage. We still have the responsibility of recalling the plan packs.
Okay, maybe, I think are there any stakeholder near residents of this property that want to speak in regards to the progress of this development? And someone can tell me if there's any raised hands. Okay, looks like there's a raised hand. Dorothy, can somebody unmute Dorothy and allow her to speak? I think she's a neighboring stakeholder of this development. Okay. Dorothy, as you can see, I think a prompt to unmute yourself, Dorothy. Are you able to? There you go. Go ahead, Dorothy.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Robin and Kilimani Foundation. Yes, this property is of concern to the residents because it's good to hear Jonah say that it can be revisited because as Robin, you have stated about initially, especially the EIA, it did not follow due process in as far as residents are concerned. There was no conversation between the consultants who, if you know, forgive me, but I'll use the word purported to have done an EIA. So as far as the residents are concerned, there really has been no EIA. And that is unfortunate that the construction has started of the development. And as residents, there has been what I would consider to be a more or less informal engagement with the team and the developer, but that does not suffice in as far as just due process being followed in as far as this development is concerned. And I think the concern as residents of Kilimani is that this could represent the process that is undertaken by most of these developments that are with the data that Robin, you have shared. And that becomes of concern because there are serious environmental issues that need to have been considered and been brought to the fore and documented in the EIA. And even just as basic as water and sewage and all kinds of things, and sewer system and all that. And, it's really unfortunate that development has already started right under our noses without a proper EIA process. So I think it's one of the, rebuttals that Jonah, you'll be receiving in your office as an NMS. And we hope that, there can be due process followed for the sake of the community, as it were. Thank you, Robin.
Great, thank you very much, Dorothy. Chris, anything you might want to add or make a suggestion or comment on this one?
I think I'll take up on the invitation to go to NMS and meet Mr. Langat and the others on behalf of the foundation as well, just to address this issue of communication that is being sent from the foundation's office that is either not being acted on or not reaching, whichever is the case. So I will pick that up with him.
Okay, great. And then Jonah, this one specifically, you've heard from a neighboring resident of this development. You've heard the level of engagement or non-engagement. So are you saying this one also can be revisited, their approval? Jonah, are you still there?
Yeah, Robin, I think all these applications can be revisited for certain. So it doesn't mean that if something has started, then the battle is lost. We certainly can push for them to be revisited.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so I think the next one on Kindaruma Road, it is, great consternation brought up. This one was purported for 900 I do know that I got a report this week that activity is, I think, come to a halt unless there's someone on here that has another comment about that. So I don't know if all we wanted to do here, Chris, was just to confirm the status. Maybe NMS can just give us the status on this one. We know that the development approval was last year, and I guess it's probably the same thing. We were told that participation, they were going to be sent back to have a formal and robust participation, and I don't think that has happened so far. So I don't know if there's any, again, this is because this is a third reading development. If we find that it is not being taken up, the foundation would look at what are the next steps in recourse. So Jonah, I don't know if you have any updates on this one.
Well, this application was approved early this year, and we received informal communication. There's no written. So what we did after collection of the building plans, the plan was blacklisted because we realized that there's an objection from the Crown. The reason that why we blacklisted not canceling the approval is because of the same no communication.
Okay.
So the work is not supposed to be going on because in the system it is blacklisted.
Okay. Okay, great. So so again, this is one that we did send a letter to. We did send a letter to you and Juliana and Badi himself. And so again, Chris, it looks like we'll need to find out whose box or whose desk this should be landing on. So it's not an informal communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I think the same is probably on this one. So that's what we can probably, because there's no new information. So this one was this one was by word of mouth that we heard it was being developed. NMS didn't have an application at that time. I don't know if if one has shown itself, or this one is still. We can probably remove this from our agenda. I just wanted to verify and confirm no activity is moving forward at this site. Is that correct, Langat? Okay, he'll let us know. Okay, if we can move to this one, LR 298, this is the one on Yangumi Road. It is owned by Delta Properties. We engaged with them again during this period since the last Baraza. Chris, I think the secretariat, the foundation secretariat has called and spoken to Delta Properties. They replied to us and said that this is not our property. Although the signboard does have their name there, the same phone numbers were re-verified. And oh, great. Looks like Chris is here. I'm sorry, James is here. Wonderful, excellent. Let's see, James, are you with Delta?
Yeah, hi, Robin.
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can, thank you.
Now, the LR number that was shared to us was LR 1298. But our parcel of land, the LR number that we have is 1552.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think from the miscommunication, we thought that maybe there was something else that there's another parcel of land that you are referring to.
Yes.
But as for us, our LR number is LR 1552.
Okay. And then is this, let's see here, is this, so then the Taji residence on Yangumi Road is yours, the one that is?
Yeah, that's our property.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Well, James, thank you so much for being here. We'll give you an opportunity.
It's a pleasure for being here.
Yeah, we're going to give you an opportunity to tell us about this project. And so we can give you about 4 minutes, just a matter of time. You can tell us about the project. I don't know if you have any drawings or anything you want to share visually, or are you okay just talking?
Okay, thank you for having me first. Right now, I don't have any drawings that I might share with you, but I can share with you later after this Baraza.
Okay.
So I will just explain it to you. We are trying to come up with a high-end apartments. The apartment is going to have 18 stories. So mainly it's going to be a residential apartment with some amenities. We're going to have a gym, and it's going to be used by the most of the residents, because most of them are just from the neighborhood. They are the ones who are buying the units.
Okay. So just wanted to just point out here why we got confused and got to maybe, or there's nothing of an LR that's on here, which is typically what you would find on the signboard. And so we just pulled the only number that we could down here at the bottom, which is is something else. Chris, I don't know if you have any questions for James before we open it up to the floor. This is the first time that residents are getting to engage directly.
Oh, hi, James.
Hi.
Yeah, so I think the key thing is the project began without engagement with the neighbors and the stakeholders. I think we just saw a signboard come up. When the foundation checked, did some background check on the signboard, the foundation got feedback that the approval number indicated on the board was not correct, and that it was, therefore, the project has not been approved. But of course, we have seen that it is progressing. So what is the status with regard to that? And maybe Langat can also comment on the same.
I think the confusion was from the plot number. The correct plot number is LR1/552. The approval number of building plans is CPF 80-295. 80-295, which should be captured in the signboard.
Sorry, you can continue.
Yeah, the plan number is 80-295. It was approved, but in our last meeting, you raised the concerns that it needs further consideration, but it was too late because the plan had already been collected. So what we did in our side, we did not cancel the application, but we commented on it by saying, kindly liaise with Kilimani Resident Association before commencement of the work.
Yeah. Thank you, Joshua. We received the comments from your portal, and we approached the neighbors. Chris, remember we had a few discussions with you some time back, I think 2 weeks ago or last week. So we have engaged a few, because even we are neighboring the China Hui, and we approached them and we discussed to them. So we had a meeting with NEMA so that we can be able to get a NEMA approval. So we had discussions with them. In regards to the signboard, we had an error because we have another project in Parklands. So I think there was a confusion in typing of the CPF number, but the CPF number, as you have heard from Joshua, we have the correct CPF number with an approved drawing. Also about the signboard, we had to change our consultants, because the previous consultants had done drawings without having a setback from the road. So we have a new team of consultants who are working on that, so to ensure that we have a good setback from the road and the roads, so that once we have engaged the neighbors and we have engaged the setback issue, we can be able to proceed. So that's the steps that we are taking.
Okay, great. Thank you, James. If I can open it up to the floor to maybe two or so floor comments. I can see one that Jetty is asking how many units? How many units, James?
We are doing
and how many flows?
Units. Yeah.
Units and floors, please, again.
Okay, we are doing 96 units. The number of floors, we have 16 floors and 2 mezzanines.
Okay. Any questions from the floor in regards to this development?
The question I have to raise, we say 16 floors with 2 mezzanines. Well, that mezzanine is a floor, so it's 18 floors.
Yeah, 18 floors.
Yes.
Thank you for that technical clarification, Mangat.
Is it 18 floors above ground, or is it 18 floors above other parking floors?
It's 18 floors above the ground. We have 2 basement parkings. So in regards to the number of units, we have 96 units with two units for with 2 stories for the amenities and also three parking basements.
Okay, so I think the question then goes back to NMS, because this is what we as a Kilimani Foundation keep asking. We get conflicting guidance from NMS regarding the development control guidelines for Kilimani as to do with height. So in the last meeting, it was reported as, was it 12 to 14? But then we sit here and the report here is that this one is 18 and they have approval. So what is the limit for Kilimani?
Well, what I can say, what I can say is during our last meeting, this application has already been approved by 10. It was because of the confusion of the LR number. So in our last meeting, it has already been approved because in the system, that's been there for the last 262 days.
I don't know if that necessarily answers Chris's question, because if you can revoke a development, you can tell them to revise a development.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that when we are saying in Kilimani, it is 12 to 14 levels, this application by then had been approved.
Yes, we heard that part, but what we're saying is if you're saying that you can ask a developer to
we can revise it.
You can ask him to revise it. That's what we're saying. If he's been approved for 18, you can ask him to revise it.
It is possible.
Okay, so James, you can hear a concern in regards to the Kilimani residents is that there's inconsistency in height. And that if the NMS starts the precedence of allowing somebody to do 18, James will turn around and next door to us, people will be having 20, 25. That's how it begins.
Okay, I've understood you now.
Yes.
I think this is an issue that we also raised while we were presenting the drawings for approvals. As you can see, around that area, we have structures which are coming up, and from my personal opinion, my personal thought is that the structures which are coming up are higher and higher and higher. We have seen a structure by China contractors along, I don't know if it's Wood Avenue, something of the sort there. So we have seen high-rise buildings. So I wonder why the selection in the one we are currently developing.
That's a great question. Thank you very much, James. And so
the foundation, this is our problem. This is
exactly.
The issue.
Exactly.
So from our side, we think it's a selection because we see others which are proceeding and they are way higher than what
Yes.
we are intending to do. And we see like we are selective because we are
Yes.
planning to do the same, and there's questions on our side and no questions from their side.
Yeah, no, this is very good. No, James, that's a very valid point. And that's why the foundation has been working or trying with for over 2 years to work with NCC and the county to come up with our local physical development plan that actually does say where and the types of developments that should be in Kilimani. And so, as you know, Yangumi Road is already in such disarray, and it's not a major thoroughfare, it's not a major corridor. And so to have a development of this size on that road is just inappropriate. So if you, and when you talk about Wood, and so when we talk about the Arg Wings and Wood Avenue, that's along a major thoroughfare. And that's, we would love for developments of this size, if they have to be in Kilimani, to be at specific and places of good use where the road and all those sorts of things can accommodate. That's what we're saying, James. And so you're just kind of in the middle of that. And it's not to say that those others have not been questioned. You've seen our agenda where we are talking about all developments. Is that correct, Chris?
That's fine. I've understood you now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, speaking as a practitioner, it is a problem for us as well, and there are probably other architects in the forum here. It just becomes impossible to know what to do, because on the other hand, guidelines are 12 to 14, but others get 20, others get 18. So that is why the foundation is trying to sort this issue out.
So James, we are so happy that you're here. We hope that you take these notes in good faith, and that now we can continue to work together to come to something that, again, James, it'll bring great value to your stakeholders and people looking to invest when they know that they can live in a place with has controlled development.
Thank you. I've understood everything that you have had to say, and I've noted down, and I think I'll relate the same to our team, and we'll see. We'll have further discussions after this Baraza.
Okay, wonderful. And Langat, you're the same. We'll be following up on this development. Okay. Okay, great. Do you have something, Langat, on that one? Okay, I think I can move on to the next agenda item. This one is, and I think I've seen the consultant who's here, Irene. Thank you very much for being with us. Irene is with EcoPlan. This is the development on Karichwa Road. Welcome, Irene.
Thank you very much. As you had requested that you needed plans to be for the participants to be taken through the plans, I'm pleased to have the project architect with us.
Wonderful.
And maybe if you could allow him to share the designs.
Wonderful. What's his name? I can give him a.
He's called David Ndungu.
Can any of our admins find David and give him sharing rights, please? Okay, I can see him there. Let me see. Team, anybody? You
working on it, Robin? Just a second. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
We're happy to have such a good turnout this morning with our Baraza. This is, it means a lot to show up. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box, and we'll make certain to get them answered or give you a chance to speak yourself. Again, we are live on Facebook. If you have anybody there on Facebook, you can go to Facebook and share on your page and say, this is where I am Saturday morning. I'm engaged in the look, feel, and design of my community. Okay, how are we coming? Okay. David, can you speak? Do you have rights to share? Are you able to share? David, can you say? I can see you're unmuted.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning.
David, please try to share your screen.
All righty, great, here we come. Oh, I feel
Yeah.
transported already, David, underwater. This is exciting.
Sorry. Yeah. This development is
David, you're going in and out audio, but you're going in and
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we can now. Maybe you
Can
can
hear me?
widen the screen. Yes, yes. There you go.
Is my volume? Is that better?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, please proceed.
This development is on Ritual Road. The development of 288.
Uh-oh.
Most of getting me?
Is it only me? Yeah, David, for some reason you're going in and out sound wise.
Yeah, it's breaking.
But let me just try and see if I can be a bit louder. I was saying it's a development of 288 apartments, 1.5 acres, more than one. Plot is actually a very big plot. I don't know whether you are hearing me.
Yeah, unfortunately, David. So David, there's a beautiful picture. Do you mind just texting the facts in the chat? Maybe we can just pick them from there. So I think we heard some number of units. If you can just text those facts in that chat and keep the picture there. But just text us those facts in the chat. Or Irene, if you know them, Irene, if you know those facts, you can speak them also. You were clear. Oh, no. Oh, sorry, David. Put back the picture. Okay, sorry. That's okay. Irene, are you able to say what those facts are? The numbers and so forth? We can see 3 towers.
Hello, I would like to know what's the plot number?
Okay, let's see here. So the plot number on this one, thank you. The plot number is 231/3, I believe, and they can verify and reconfirm that. 231/3 on Karichwa Road. Representatives, please confirm that's accurate.
That's correct.
Okay, great. That's correct, he says. It was on the agenda, Langat. We sent it's on the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay. Irene, are you able to speak and give us those facts? We can see it had 3 towers again. I think I heard something like 280 something units.
Did he fall off?
No, his signal is too bad to speak.
Okay, just a minute.
So we can see here 3 towers. Chris, what else can you pick from this?
They're going to be, I'm just trying to open the note.
Okay.
The total acreage is 1.666 acres. There are going to be 4 levels of parking. Ground, upper, lower, and basement with 450 parking slots. There's going to be a swimming pool and a restaurant. And of course, some recreation area for children to play. There's going to be a roof deck for drying clothes and also hosting the solar water heating panels, meaning they're going to have both KPLC and solar. 16 number floors. So as Joanne said, plus the 4 that comes to, in terms of, I don't know how they take the floor levels, but 15 floors of the units. The units are going to be 288. Blocks are 3 blocks, A, B, and C. Block A will have 2 and 3 bedroom. Block B will have the same 2 and 3. Only Block C will have a 3 bedroom. Yeah, basically that is it. So there is effluent connection to main, will be to the main sewer line, which is available on site. There is water is the primary source will be from the NCWSC, and will be supplemented by a borehole. He indicates that the designs have taken into consideration the traffic flow onto and out of the design. I'm hoping that the inflow and out will be taken care of. And then, of course, there's going to be a waste management room. That's basically what I can say about it.
Okay, wonderful, great. Thank you very much, Irene and David. So let me maybe Chris, take some questions from the floor. Any questions, any neighboring stakeholders? Oh, I'm sorry, David. Go ahead, please.
I have a question.
Oh, Lanyard, yes.
How many parking are provided? Parking spaces? And what plot ratio are you using? 400?
Parkings, 450 parking slots.
Yeah, because the parking ratio here is 1:2.
Say that again, the ratio should be what, 1 to 2?
1:2 is the ratio of parking.
Yeah.
And what plot ratio are you using?
Go ahead, David.
It's 3.
3.
It's okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good questions. Any other questions from the floor about this development? I have one here. This question is asking how many units. So they told us 280. Again, I missed that. What's the total again? 280. 80 what? 88.
288.
Okay, 288. And the question was asking how many. So then that tells, somebody was asking, comparing this to the sites and towers, which was on Arguings, that eventually was rebutted and I think canceled. So any other questions from the floor about this development? Okay.
Maybe some clarity on the number of floors. I'm sure James is listening and wondering why this is not being asked or stressed. So
yes,
what is the floors? Forget what's parking, what's apartments, what number of floors above ground?
David or Irene?
16 floors parking.
Okay, 16 floors above ground. Okay, great, thank you. So as we know, Karichua Road is also not a major road. It's not a major corridor. So I think, David, as you've heard before, the discrepancy around what is the permissible height and where. So I think that again might be something that we'd like NMS in terms of our regularizing and having orderly development, if you will, thing that is complementary. We want to look at what that is. Chris, anything else about this that we want to?
No, it sounds to me that
you've muted yourself. Okay,
Sounds to me like NMS are yet to review it based on the questions Mr. Langat was asking. So I believe he will review it. They will review it, keeping in mind what the community feels about issues that we are asking them to standardize on ground coverage and plot ratio. It will be good for everyone. We don't want other developers feeling that some people somehow get preferential treatment while others do not. So I think for us as a foundation, we want something standardized. If we are being told it is 12 to 14, then it has to stick to 12 to 14. I mean, of course, it is also dependent on plot size and all that, but we want clear guidelines.
Okay, great. I think we have one question on the floor. What's a setback from the road? So that's something, I don't know if you can speak to that or make certain that that's taken into consideration. Even parking below.
Is
Go ahead.
Setback 11.5.
Okay, 11.5 setback. Okay.
I think Robin, the other thing that, and this is not specific to this development, is the issue of the densities that are also being allowed.
Yeah.
Because I think through these presentations, you will find developments in smaller properties, but possibly then double the number of units that this particular development has. And this one sits apparently on a space larger than an acre. But you've got others here that are upwards of 400, 500. So you could be looking at height alone, but then is it okay for them to just pack up studio apartments or one bedroom apartments and end up with 500 within the 16 floors? What does that do to traffic? What does that do to utility? So part of the guidance we need from NMS is also the density.
Yeah, very good.
There's a question regarding the space, the blocks.
Yeah.
The question in the chat.
So I think, David, maybe you can email us maybe some of your floor designs also. Be good for the residents to interact with them, because they can look and see and feel some of these. And then, and it's really, again, because we don't want complete concrete flooring and so forth. What's the quality of living and what's the space and so forth that's going to be there. The angle, if you will, and the placement of this building on the plot. How does it improve ventilation and flow for the neighbors and people that are around there? We'd love to just kind of see that orientation and to see what the impact from all angles and all ways. So I don't know if, David, if you'd be so kind to also share those drawings just for engagement among the Plan Development Committee. We'd be happy to give a summary of comments to you. We appreciate Irene and EcoPlan for proactive engagement with their EIA on this development. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you. And we promise to send drawing.
Okay, sounds good. So I think, Irene, we'll just have this one more time on our next Baraza for the third time, just so you can get a final comment as you're moving forward for approvals.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you, David. I think if you don't mind stopping and sharing your screen, and I'll go back to sharing mine.
Thank you.
As soon as I can find it.
Shared already.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so now we are looking at this one here. Last time, Chris, as you remember, on T-Mile Road, we had some very passionate engagement about this one. It was the one that's next to T-Mile and Nivus, no engagement, nothing. And I think what was of interest and what's a question here is, when government is developing, do they follow the same procedures? Should they be expected to follow the same procedures? As you see with this one that is owned by Posta, and I think they were leasing it out, but then we'll find another government building development later on our agenda. So there was, NMS didn't commit to taking any action in that last meeting, but we're just putting it back on here. This is the second reading. I actually don't know the status of it. I don't know if anyone is on here, has a comment in regards to this development, or any new developments anybody has to report about this. Okay. Okay, so I think, Chris, that's kind of, as the Plan Development Committee, we want to get in and understand what is government's role in development. Is it a different and a separate procedure, or is it the same? Chris?
To my knowledge, it is the same. Government entities go through the same application processes that any other entity goes through. I don't know if we are sure that this is a government entity developing here. We just know that the land is supposedly is owned by the Postal Corporation, but it is indicated that people have leased this land. So then the lessee is then the one who would be making the application. So this is a case of probably someone who's leased the land. And yeah, so I do not think this is a government entity undertaking this project, but again, we have no information on this one.
Okay. So again, NMS, we implore on you to give us feedback on this. And we will again take this up to find out, because there would be, again, there's no signboard on the site. No one for us to be able to say this is who is actually doing the work on the site, which, as you know, is of danger, of great danger and great concern. Who do we hold accountable to something happen on that site? We don't know who to call on or who to make a report to. Okay, so I think we'll move to the next item. This was, yeah. Oh, hi, welcome, Dominic.
Yes, how are you?
Wonderful, great, glad you're here.
Yes,
Dominic.
just want to comment that actually it's true. All government agencies should go through the same process except the Department of Defense. It's only a government agency that can do a development without involving the approval, the normal approval system for security reasons. Otherwise, we will check and confirm what is happening and maybe give a feedback. And even if we are able to take in enforcement action before then, we'll also inform you. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, Dominic. And so I think we come to the next agenda item, LR 1913. And this one, it was in regards to several issues. And so we know that they're operating, they've converted some of their residential space to a restaurant commercial space that spills over onto the Ring Road. And then there are some boundary encroachments that is there. I think at our last engagement, NMS was going to follow up in regards to compliance and enforcement and licensing. So I don't know if either of you have any updates on this. Dominic or Langat? Are you there, guys? Dominic or Langat? Any updates from NMS on following up on this agenda item? Okay. Okay, guys, are you there, or have you dropped, or?
What is the plot number?
Yes, it is 1913.
No, I have no idea.
Okay. Dominic, yourself?
No idea, but we'll check again that plot number. Although we could not get you right when you are speaking, I think you are breaking a bit. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes, no, I was just saying that per you can see the screen here, what was the actions to be taken. NMS was to follow up on compliance and enforcement. And we were just coming at this Baraza looking for an update about that. So if there's none here, we kindly ask that that you do take it up and perhaps within next week, give us that update. Okay, thank you. So the next ones, we're moving into new developments. These are developments that that we residents share, or they find them in the dailies. They share them with the Kilimani Project's Plan Development Committee. It's very difficult for us to get the particulars from those posts in the dailies. All it has is, if anyone has seen those, it is so lacking of information. NMS, that's part of one of the things that we want to talk to you about in our engagement, our formal engagement we've been trying to establish with you, is that can we be provided with more information when you're asking us for feedback in 14 days on giving approval of a change of user. So this one here is a change of user that's along Lanana. We believe that approval was done several years ago. Then they submitted an amendment. We just want to verify that there's no progress. If that's the case, this, if you can confirm that, I think we will remove it off of our standing agenda until we see any movement there. So any comments on this development? Anything new? Might not be anything new. We're just double checking. Okay, I'm gonna take it, but that's the case. I'm gonna move to, sorry, the numbering here. We're gonna move to the next one. Our next agenda is LR 1278. LR 1278, it's on Kasuku Lane. The owners, you can see there, the owners and the representatives. We understand by some stakeholders that change of user has been granted. Again, this is for an application of 18 stories, and this is a very recent, within the last 2 months. So if Dominic or Lengat can, well, maybe first we can hear from any neighboring residents about this before NMS responds. This is new on our agenda, first reading. Any comments from any neighboring stakeholders on this development? Okay.
Yeah, I think this, again, this is Chris,
Yes.
falls again within the purview of guidance that we need from NMS, and the same consistency, because you again have someone moving around with an EIA. They have, I think, attempted to circulate, to be fair to them, questionnaires, but they're going around saying they're doing an 18-story development. So again, the question is, what is the permissible height in Kilimani? Of course, what is interesting here is that there seems to be 2 blocks, and one is an office block, to let clearly, as you can see from the layouts there, and the second block is a residential block. So this is again mixed use developments, and then coming on what is not a major road there on Kasukulen. This is just chaos waiting to happen. Offices 1 block, residential apartments the other block. It's so certainly NMS needs to look at this.
Okay. And let me say that MCare World Services was invited, was talked to. We did have a conversation with them. I don't know if they're here, if MCARE or any of these representatives happen to be here, would like to present themselves, the development. Is MCARE or anyone here? Okay, looks like I don't see them identifying themselves. Okay, so maybe NMS, what can you give us feedback about on this development? Anybody NMS or anybody come? Dominic or Langat, we welcome your comments and feedback on this development, please.
Good morning.
Anne, are you with MCARE?
No, sorry, I just logged in. I was just a bit lost. I live on Kasukulin. I'm a resident.
Oh, okay, great, wonderful. We'd love to get any comments about this development.
Yes.
Langat. Okay, 1 second, Langat. Let us hear from Anne, who's a resident stakeholder, then we'll come to you.
All right, good morning. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you, Anne. Welcome.
All right, sorry, I logged off just for a second, so kind of just update me if probably go off topic. Anyway, yes, so I live on Kasukulin. I've been born and raised here, so we're pretty much the last few people on Kasukulin to still have a standalone compound. So I've seen the progress that has been made on our road. However, could I please first ask where exactly on Kasukulin, is this development going to happen? Because I'm a bit confused.
Okay. Chris, can you pinpoint this?
This is what is the name of the establishment there? Is it called the Hood? This is next to the Hood.
I live directly opposite the Hood, the gate. So the next to the Hood is a Chinese, it's an engineering firm.
Yes, this is it. This is the one.
Oh yeah, okay. Because previously, before that, it belonged to the Mosses, and yeah, they sold the property. So I'm pretty much aware of that house very well. Okay, so wow, when is this due to? When are you breaking ground, or when are you? When are you?
Yeah. So Anne, right now they're in the process of, I believe they're doing their environmental impact assessment, and that's, I believe, the process that it's in. What we're concerned about is that they were granted a change of user by the county, which is incongruent with their own zoning and development levels. But maybe do you have any comments about what you think the impact of an 18-story building would have on you and your, and the street and the area or anything else?
Okay. Okay. Number one, the ecosystem, or rather the ecosystem is yet to be disrupted again, because knowing that this place used to have a lot of trees, and we had like birds and, just wild animals just flying up and about. So obviously that is going to be disrupted based on the trees that are on that compound. Number two is the noise, of course, that we are about to experience. And number three, knowing that Kasukulin has always had issues with getting the engineers to come sort out the road. And when it rains, we have issues with potholes. So knowing that this development is yet to happen, and there are going to be lorries that are going to be moving from one end to the other day to day, are they in unison with the government to get our roads fixed from time to time? Because there's a school and we are joggers as well, so we also want to we need to know what's going to happen.
Okay, great, thank you for those comments and questions.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for being here again, Anne. So
Yeah,
we can ask NMS to respond to the status of this development and the next steps.
Well, I just want to keep the status of this application. Yes, we've received an application for 96 number apartment and 60 number shops. It's a mixed development. There's a change of use. It is 18 levels. So unlike the rest, as we discussed before, because this is still under evaluation, so it means we have a chance to limit the proposal to where we want now, as opposed to the rest which we have discussed before.
Okay, got it, great. And I think we said before also, even those that have been approved and they are not building, we still have a chance to reduce those.
We do.
Okay, great, thank you for that. Dominique, anything that you would like to add to that? And I think the question is, you know, that's why the local physical development plan is so critical. We do not want to be putting out fires and chasing things at horses that are way out the gate. We want to start to look at how did a 18-story get approval in the first place. And so that's, you know, we do want to kind of make certain we're closing any loopholes that is allowing this to happen. Dominic, any other comments? Okay, if not, then I think, Chris, this is one for us we've already sent a letter, Langat, you've asked for letters of objections. We've sent a letter on this one also. So we are doing our part. So, you know, maybe it's to look at whose desk it's landing on and who's seeing them and who's actioning the items. But Chris, maybe this is one that we look at again on getting it to the right person and swift action, because we know developers, this is an investment, time is money, and it impacts all of us when we dally and we continue to have this stretch out for month after month with no decisive action.
Right, Robin, I don't know whether you skipped number 11.
I think my numbering is off. I think it's coming back to it in a second. I pray.
All right.
Okay, so can we move to the next one?
Yes.
Let me see here. Let me just go through it, and if there's any missing, we'll verify. Okay, so this was one that the Kilimani Project Foundation was invited to an EIA. We received a letter on the 19th to come to an EIA on the 21st. One of the things we want to, give comment to some of the consultants that are working in this area, that it's not in good faith, if you will, to invite a community to come out in 2 days' time. And especially inside of the era and times of COVID, people take a little bit more caution in what they come to and what they don't come to. And so we have reached out to Canaan developers again and invited them to be here today, but no response from them. And so we'll seek to engage with them and ask them to be with us again. But NMS, I don't know if you have any comments or anything about this development. It's down in the Ralph Bunch area, I think opposite the Nairobi Hospital, a mixed-use development. Any comments on this development?
Yes, we have just this week received an application for the same. It's a 26-story mixed development at the junction of Ralph Road and Aquico. The plot size is slightly less than half. Maybe our recommendation is it's very, very, very important if the developer can provide with a traffic management report, because it's at the junction of two major roads.
Okay. Thank you, Lingad.
The status is still under evaluation.
Okay. And maybe, I don't know what the complementary heights are in that area right now. Chris, any comments on this development?
No, none
Okay.
at the moment.
Okay. So I think this is the first reading for this development. We will reach out to the developers and ask them to please engage us. Who is their EIA consultant? We were unable to determine that, and for them to engage us in this robust engagement so that we actually, let's see here, I see a hand or a comment or something here. Let's see. Yeah, that was my question also. Somebody raised the concern of 26 stories on less than half an acre. That is a little bit of a concern of what that does to that site. Okay, so I think we can move on to the next one. And I don't know if Josiah, is Josiah with us today with Kura? I think I saw Beatrice earlier. Is Josiah?
Yeah, Josiah was not able to attend the meeting.
Okay.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome,
You
Beatrice.
can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Josiah was not able to join us today, but next meeting, which will be presenting the design for the road, other engineers and him will be present.
Okay. Maybe you can just tell us about the exercise and maybe you can tell us about the exercise and what you're undertaking right now.
Yeah, I am from CGP Consulting Engineers, and we've been given work to do the design for the Agnes Kodek Road from Nairobi Hospital all the way to Korosho Road. Currently, we are undertaking baseline data collection, and myself, I am the project sociologist, so I am undertaking the EIA and ESIA, and we reached out to the area chief who led us to Kilimani Project Foundation, and you gave us this platform. We've been doing data collection through questionnaires in the area, in between the section between Nairobi Hospital and Korosho Road. We are also planning to do a public meeting sometime maybe next month. We shall communicate on that. But this is also a good platform where we can also talk to the residents and get their views. Of our major concern, when I discussed with the engineers, is the section between DOD and Yaya Center. That section is very narrow, and they would want to hear from the residents what they would want to be done on that section, because I think there's a lot of maybe encroachment, but the surveyor is liaising with the Nairobi County to get the survey data and see if there is any encroachment and what space is available for the design for that section. But going back to the ESIA, we want to hear the views of the residents and the stakeholders on the impacts during construction, because we are going to come up with that with mitigation measures for all the impacts, may it be environmental, social, or economic, and also with regards to traffic during construction. We have a questionnaire that we shared. If you're able to distribute it to the stakeholders and get a feedback from it, it will be good for us.
Okay, wonderful.
I think that's it from my side.
Okay, thank you, Beatrice. I think if you'd be so kind to convert that questionnaire, and we'd ask all of the EIA consultants in this digital era, if you can convert your questionnaires to a digital questionnaire, that will make it easier for people to give their comments. So if you can do that and get it to us, we'd be happy to circulate it and get the feedback. One of the things I'm going to ask Constant here in terms of motorized, non-motorized transport and so forth, if he has any points that he might want to raise in regards to, this road. Constant, do you have anything that you might want to point or make certain that gets thought about and included? I know this is.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Robin. I think this road from my perspective and a few other people, offers a good opportunity for us to look at the urban road design standards that are being developed by the Ministry of Transport, multi-head Ministry of Transport, Infrastructure and Housing and Urban Development, as well together with ITDP, because they're coming up with design standards that take into account aspects such as cycling lanes, bike lanes, proper bus stops that avoid the kind of congestion that we get to see at some of our bus stops, etc. It would be nice if we were able to, first it would be nice if once the designs are out, you're able to share those with us so that we can see. And so that we can see, comment, and also share our experience and expertise on that. Aside from that, there's also, and I think I met you guys on the street up near the Montessori school when you were doing some studies. And one of the questions a number of people want to know is on land acquisition and how much land will be required for this expansion. So I think the sharing of the designs is critical for residents and stakeholders to know once they're out. Thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Constant. I'm a cyclist myself, and I cycle along Arguings. I was just there the other evening almost, and it's quite harrowing. It's quite harrowing, Beatrice. And so I'm looking forward to some proper lanes that are a little bit bigger than, this a little bit bigger than this. And that really gives some space and movement and yielding to non-motorized people that are moving via non-motorized means. So Beatrice, with those couple of things, if you can get back to us a digital survey form, Google form is, everybody's familiar with that. And then, even the drawings and so forth, we're happy to invite you to a committee meeting as you are, thinking about it and even ideating about the design of the street. So you don't do all the work to the end and then we give comments. We're happy to have a special session, if you will, and call the members to a special session about the ideating of that street. So please feel free to use us for that purpose. I don't know if NMS has any questions or comments about this in terms of its impact or thoughts about how it impacts Kilimani's design or your vision for development. Okay. All right. I don't think they have anything. But again, Beatrice, thank you for being here. We look forward to engaging further on this much needed infrastructure improvement.
Thank you so much for the opportunity you gave me to present today, and we shall continue communicating on the same.
Okay.
As for the questionnaire, I will be sending one very soon.
Okay, wonderful. All right, great. Thanks, Beatrice. Okay, so the next property is change of user. It's one that we've all probably been watching with a lot of like, huh? So it's on Laconia. It's adjacent to the former Kilimani chief's office. You can see construction again is underway already. It is just right there on the right-hand side. You can see the signboard there. When these pictures were taken, the photographer happened to catch a car that was coming out of the development. The car, they tell me the story that the car, when it came out, it actually, stood there and it looked left and right and wondered, now how am I gonna get out of here? And then it did its best and it just came out and just rode up the street. Up the pavement, because you can see there is no entry point, no access point for this development. So I don't know if any resident comments here. Constant, I don't know if you have any comments in regards to road or transport I know that body NMS just put out a statement about parking on pavements. So what do you think that this is going to do? Maybe I can just open this up for discussion. How has this development progressed so far in NMS? If you say that government is supposed to follow the same procedures, and maybe you can let us know about this. But first, let me just open it up for general comments to anyone. Any general comments about this development? Okay.
Hello?
Yes, Linga?
Yes, I think the correct details is the plot number, because I don't think whether we have the plot number here. The plot number is 209/2809.
Okay.
We receive application for proposed shops and showrooms. And earlier on, we had approved a change of use for the same. The proposal was in 3 levels, and while it was under evaluation, we received an objection, I think, from the immediate neighbors. And so far, the application has stalled. It is demanded. It has not been approved, actually.
Okay.
So that is the status.
All right, thank you very much. Any comments from anyone in the room? General comments from the floor? Okay. Chris, do you have any comments on this development? Oh, let me see, there's a statement here. Yeah, she's raising about access. Chris, any comments, anything here that?
I really don't. I mean, the report from NMS is that the project has no approval. So I suppose for them, the next stage is this development control guys would probably inform the enforcement unit, which is separate from them, for action to be taken, because I think it has been reported that there is no approval for this project, but it is underway, it is almost complete.
Initially, I think the project has started before it was submitted. After the first notice, they submitted. Still, we got another objection letter. So I think we are going to follow up with the enforcement team so that the project can be stopped.
Okay. So I just have a question in regards to on which basis does such a development get approvals? Lingard, as we look at the status, the location of this development, what would NMS or your predecessor of approvals seen in this development that would warrant approval? In terms of transport, in terms of access, can you shed some light, just so the people that are here, how they understand how such a development would have gotten approval? What criteria did it meet that would have warranted approval, Lingard?
The proposal is just 3 levels. So I think what was lacking in the initial stage is a public participation for the change of use, because our approval of development plan, building plans, is based on the change of user. So I think the change of user they are supposed to have done a maximum public participation.
No, I guess I'm talking I'm asking on a technical level, because talking about access and transport. Is that something that is taken into consideration?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Within the junction of 2 roads, they're supposed to provide traffic management reports.
I'm not speaking even in terms of a junction here. Lengat, can you see there's no entry point for this development? You can see the image? There's no entry point for this development.
It's not very clear to me.
Okay, we're happy to invite you over to see it, but he'd have to, this car has to enter, there's an entry point that's closer by the river. So to even enter this site, he has to come up still on the pavement. There's no, you can see there's no entry point. I'll send you those images also. So that's our concern is how would such a development get an approval? So, you know, Chris, as we talk about, we know that the NMS and MCC, it's been there for quite some time, their capacity to do inspections. And so, Lengat, as we've talked about forming our relationship with you, that maybe this is something as a resident association that we assist you with some of those on the ground inspections to give you on the ground reports. So you're not spread so thin. Okay, so again, thank you very much for the update on this report. I think we've noted, because Lengat, the signboard does not have, so the information that we have there as the title of these developments is what we find on the developments, I'm sorry, on the signboard. So we're even looking at what constitutes information on the signboard. The phone number that's there is incorrect. It's inoperable and can't be reached. So I think that these are some of the things that, again, that hopefully we can bring into regularization and clear information across the board. No pun intended.
Okay, thank you. I'm adding something on that.
Yes.
I think I said this project started before it was submitted. So their submission actually was trying to comply with the comments. But if you see the drawing as it is not approvable. Thank you.
Thank you, Lengat. So this falls in, this is another access to all the developments across the county and the country that are outside of approvals.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. So let's regularize this and not have, let's, be a stand for some order and some say in how we want our spaces developed. Okay, the next one is one that was noted in a daily, a couple of weeks ago. So we don't have any more information than what's in the paper. Lengat, maybe you can give us status on this. Again, in the paper, you've asked us on this date, on November 13th. That's the day that somebody in our community found it or noticed it. And it says, please comment within 14 days. So then what is 14 days? 27. Oh my gosh, we missed it yesterday, Chris. Oh my goodness. So we could just see the problematic nature of the way that this is being gone about. So Lengat, this is one of the things we've been dying to have a formal engagement with you to have that change of user be more effective. So you can give us an update on this?
Which plot number?
1222.
1222. I don't have any idea.
Okay. Okay. So it's again, it was in the dailies. And so if asking for a change of user and for people to submit their concerns, we cannot give comprehensive, valuable feedback without more data. So we'll follow up with you on this one. We'll even share the image of the daily, and we hope that we don't find that change of user has proceeded without engagement. Okay, I think that is all. Oh, then this one here is another one, Lengat, that was found in the daily on the 18th. 2657. From residential to commercial development, being a restaurant and car wash. Any updates or thoughts?
Well, in this one, we have received a small application. I call it small because of the magnitude of the project. We received a proposed cafeteria, shed, and a car wash, since the proposal is just temporary, at the junction of Aquico Deck and Elgeyo Marakwet Road. Maybe the comments which needs to be considered that there should be no direct access from Aquico Deck, no direct access from Elgeyo Marakwet, because I think there's an alternative access behind the plot. It's not a major development, but the application is under scrutiny.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you for that feedback. Any comments about this one? Any neighboring stakeholders to the Arguings, Elgeyo Marakwet area? Anybody have any comments about this change of user? And so, Lengat, I just want to just point, if we don't have anyone here, it's not to say that it's a go forward, if you will. It's just they might not be in this room. Okay, so maybe you can give us that. We've captured that information that you said. We will share it with our members again and just ask more broadly in our membership group, anybody that has any comments or concerns about this development as a change of user. So we ask that change of use not be granted until you give us a week to give this feedback. Okay. Okay, Chris, so that concludes our development list. Okay. Just wanted to, these were some of the things that what we've been, again, Chris, there's so many developments. Just a look around Kilimani, we can find so many developments that are happening around the ward. These are just some others that, you know, just in a walk around that have been pinpointed that are at one stage or another. Some of them have signboards, some of them don't have signboards. Some have been dormant for quite some time. Chris, isn't there a time period in which developers should complete their project? Seems like I remember something like that. What happens to some of these projects that get started and they don't finish? You know, and what does that do about the, you know, dilapidated look of a development, of our ward, if you will? Does it start to be a development graveyard when many developments are started and they don't finish? How does that impact us as quality of living and so forth? Could they be that they've bitten off more than they can chew, and something happens?
Okay, it's a myriad of reasons. Some of them are caught up in court cases, and NMS could not intervene even if they wanted to. Some have to do with financing issues, and so they freeze up. There are guidelines regarding how soon you must finish your project when you start. And when that period ends, you are required to renew. As to whether there are guidelines regarding how long an unfinished building can stay in that state, I am not aware such guidelines would exist. So in some cases, you would find, you know, an existing a construction that is coming up that is frozen and for whatever reason, and if there is no way to finish it, I don't know if the county would, whether NMS steps in and say demolish it or what. Maybe NMS can clarify that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chris. Lengat, any response to that?
No, sir.
Lengat? No, please come back, Lengat. We had wanted your comments. Well, as you're coming back, so Chris, yes, so that I think that's something that we should be looking at. You know, do we have to be the what do you call it, at the brunt of maybe some of the larger development issues and the environment in which development is happening? You know, I think it's starting to get a bit much as we walk, as one walks around Kilimani. You can just start to see a lot of what potentially could be long-term, perpetual states of incomplete developments.
Yeah, I think I lost you for a minute there, but I think as a foundation, we can take the lead and push the county to come up with certain policies and guidelines to do with developments that started and then did not finish, because we have that situation on Kindaruma Road where someone dug up pretty deep to put up a basement, and then it stalled, and then so after several seasons of rain, we had an issue there where there was a lot of water. It just became a pond. I think there was another one as well somewhere on Kilimani Road, but that's filled up now. I'm pretty sure there must be public health guidelines that the county can undertake. But again, perhaps this can form part of the communication and engagement that the foundation does with NMS, and points out some of the projects of concern that maybe are incomplete and now remain an ISO or a public health risk to the community. Yeah.
Okay. So I think you know, we ask our members and anyone in Kilimani to let us know of such developments that you've noticed that have been in a stagnant state for quite some time. We do want to build up that inventory, and as we engage with NMS to see what we can do about those. And then the other one, again, Chris and those in attendance, we have been trying for quite some time to have a sit down with NMS to come up with some formal engagement with NMS. Unfortunately, we've been unsuccessful in regards to several calls, emails, and smoke signals and all sorts of things. And so we just want to let you know, Langat, this is something that we still think that while we appreciate you coming to the Barazas, this is a little bit of the after kind of firefighting and an after effect. We want to be proactive. We want our engagement to be proactive, where we are laying down mutually agreed you know, agreements and zoning, desirable zonings. And so Langat, we invite you to please take back to your team that Kilimani Project Foundation wants to sit down with you formally. We want to look at these, how are we receiving the change of user notices, so that they just don't come in the dailies. If you shared them with us directly, we'd be able to more rapid pace get feedback and to be able to get valuable feedback. We still want to develop our local physical development plan, which we had started in 2017, 2018. With that not being concluded, it's giving us the challenges and the hiccups and the misunderstandings that we have right now. You can see the image to the left, I'm sorry, to the right, Chris, is what they designed and came up with in 2016. And I believe what is guiding their approval process right now. But Chris, that process was not adopted. It was not sanctioned by residents. It was something that was developed by the University of Nairobi. At that time, the county took it and adopted it, but it has never been robustly engaged by us, the stakeholders. And so we're asking to open that engagement back up. Let us verify it. Let us validate it. Let us say where development should be and where it should go, and once and for all. Because as we know, development, Kilimani is growing rapid fire ways. So in light of that, Kilimani Project is going to be proactive, and we're going to pick up our own engagement of developing our physical plan. And so we are working with somebody that's going to come in and do a GIS mapping of Kilimani. We're excited about that. It's going to help us to be able to understand and have more ability to manipulate, to inform, and to say about Kilimani's development. We're going to pick up on these barazas, this 3 series of barazas that we've had over the second half of this year. Is just the first phase of our participatory planning exercises. And so we'll do more in 2021. And we hope within the first quarter that we can come up with a solid, approved and a mutually agreed upon local physical development plan. So Chris, that's just what we have on the horizon. You know, I hope that as you go and meet with the NMS, that we find a partner on the other side that's ready to work with us and to put this to rest once and for all.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, so I think that brings to the conclusion of our this part, if you will. Oh, this was a general development matter. Kura is doing the proposed construction from Valley Road, Kenyatta Road, also that whole area. We invite you to engage Kura on that. And somebody on Twitter who attended a recent public consultation did a nice thread of what came out of that. So if anybody's interested, they can go there, continue to engage. Let me see here. I think we have somebody is saying something. Yeah. And so I'm actually going to hand it back over to Wanjiru, if she's still with us, as the executive director of the foundation, to close this Baraza out. Thank you very much, everybody. Or somebody who's doing that. Is Emma doing that?
Yes.
Thank you, Robin.
Okay, great. Go for it.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Can you see me well?
Yep.
Great. So asante sana for everyone who's shown up. I think very healthy discussions and just very good engagement. I think this is what was envisioned in the Constitution when we talked about public-private conversation, public dialogue in terms of NMS showing up, Kura showing up, and really just speaking from the same place. We're like we always say, it's not that the Kilimani Project Foundation is anti-development. We all understand how a city is to grow, and densification is inevitable, but we must densify in a way that is that is a win-win for everybody, for even the residents themselves eventually, because we do need to manage the concrete jungles that we are seeing coming up around us, and just ensuring that it's a livable city where children can play, children can walk to school, persons with disability can move around. And I'm just excited to see what we could be able to do with Agwin Skozek in terms of a model road that for NMT, but also for people who just ease of movability, as it were. So thank you everyone for showing up. Keep engaged. Very important. If the foundation relies on your membership, so please renew your membership. They're all due for renewal. The link has just been put there on the chat. Please renew your membership. Click on the link, pay up. This what helps us to get all these things going. And thank you, and be engaged. And thank you for everyone who has showed up on behalf of the entire board. I just want to appreciate also Robin, Chris, and the Plan Development Action Committee for putting this together. I know there's a lot of people behind the scenes getting this going. Martha on the tweets, Annabelle on minuting and writing letters to NMS. We sure will make sure those letters get right to the desk as opposed to, because maybe we've been sending them and they've been getting lost within the City Hall. So thank you so much, and appreciate. Have a lovely Saturday. See you all out next week at Kilimani Primary. Let's come and plant some trees and continue to green our, as much as all these concrete buildings are coming up, let's also be adding some green to our community. To come out and let's plant trees together. We'll observe all COVID protocols, but get your children out, get them engaged, and just learning about why it's important to have trees in community. So see you all around, and thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Emma. Thank you to the board of the Kilimani Project Foundation and to the Secretariat. And so thank you all for being here. Thank you again with my partner. It's been a pleasure. And we will see you at the next Baraza. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, thanks.